One must understand that there's a narrow channel for when these advisors, if you will, when they talk to country X, they're supposed to let the boss know what they talked about, so they're not blindsided. Meaning that, hey, your General Milley promised me this. That's not supposed to work that way. You're supposed to, when these advisors talk to a different country, they're supposed to, whatever political party's in power, they're the boss. There's a civilian control of the military. That's just the way it is. And that's good. It's got its pluses and minuses as well. They're supposed to talk in a certain channel or lane. And they can't really divert. And when General Milley reportedly is saying that he wouldn't told him, oh, by the way there, General Lee of China, if something were to happen, I would call you first. Really? And they're not denying that was ever said. Now that's the interesting thing. Because once that is talked about, you basically waded into the deep end of the treasonous pool. Now, if he would have said something like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, there's some shenanigans going on in the government in the country, but everything is fine. Nothing's going on. We'll talk later if when we see each other at these parties or whatever." But you don't promise your adversary essentially that if something were to happen, you would call him to let him know something was going to happen. Militarily speaking, of course. Because that's dipping your toe definitely in the deep end of the treasonous pool. So, of course, the White House is giving Mark Milley, it's okay, dude, we're fine. That's because Mark Milley is a Democrat, apparently. A far-left douchebag, if you will. And, of course, people are calling for resignation. It's not going to happen. Will it happen? I hope so. Will it? Probably not. Even if he does go to some sort of tribunal, nothing's going to happen to him. He may resign, but they might stop him. He may get demoted one rank, and then he'll retire as a 4-star general, and he'll go work on K Street. Ding, 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 ding. That's it. Milley's alleged actions include making secret calls to top military officer in Beijing and holding a clandestine gathering of military officers to demand that they only obey command orders that come through Milley, which, by the way, busts the chain of command, according to the authors of a forthcoming book. And again, I don't want to believe the authors. One of them is Woodward. He's a douchebag, far lefty a-hole. But they haven't denied. Our government has not denied the accusations. So which is it? Should we just because Woodward is a far leftist asshole, I should not believe what he said in the book? So that makes me go to delve into this deeper, which I've had. The actions are described in Peril by Washington Post journalists Bob Woodward and Robert Costa. Milley took unprecedented actions because he was afraid Trump might launch a nuclear strike, the authors wrote. When did Donald Trump ever say that he's going to do something with nuclear missiles? Nothing. He, in fact, kept us out of war for 4 years. Even new wars. 4 years. He tried to talk to Kim Jong-un of North Korea. He tried to talk to a bunch of different people, even got us out of Afghanistan until Biden destroyed that notion of a clean withdrawal, because we all know what happened. Milley, in a statement, confirmed the anecdotes in the book are true, but couched them as normal procedure and signaled that he plans to remain in office. Plans to remain. General Milley continues to act and advise within his authority in the lawful tradition of a civilian military control and his oath of the Constitution, the chairman's spokesman, Colonel David Butler. Again, lawful tradition of civilian control and his oath to the Constitution. In my opinion, he broke his oath. He didn't say that to the Chinese general that he'd make a call if there was going to be a nuclear strike. Really. You just weren't going to... You were going to, essentially, if there was something, let's just say something happened and China decided to invade Taiwan. And The only way to stop it was launch a nuclear missile, which would have been stupid. And Donald Trump says, yes, okay, we're going to launch a nuclear strike. And what did Milley say he was going to do? He was going to call General Lee and say, hey, we're doing something, watch out. That's treasonous. You're basically aiding the enemy, which is a core tenet of treason. The doubling down further alarmed critics who described his actions as dangerous. We could have a nuclear war over a mistake because the general is going outside the line of the command and to insinuate something that nobody believes to be true, but actually could have started a war. Yeah, that general could have said, what is he saying? Oh my God, high alert! Set the klaxons out and got the military ramped up to its highest, readiness, and invaded Taiwan because of shit like this. You would think, I think General Milley did go to West Point. But you think that someone who went to West Point or another prestigious institution like that would have better common fucking sense. But apparently he didn't. The White House on Wednesday stood up for Milley, of course, because it's anti-Trump, with President Potato affirming that he has great confidence in his chief of staff chairman. The Pentagon supported Milley in general, but officially evaded questions, of course, about his alleged actions. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, another complete unadulterated douchebag, has full trust and confidence in Chairman Milley and the job he's doing. Spokesman John Kirby told reporters in the afternoon briefing. When asked to comment on specifics of the controversial incidents, Kirby waved off. I'm not going to speak to unconfirmed reports, but they all but confirmed it, by the way, from a book that we haven't looked at and read yet, but you haven't denied, and certainly not to a conversation that took place before the administration took office. Again, haven't denied. I'm not going to go there or anything. But you kind of have. By not saying anything, you basically confirmed it. When pressed to address what one reporter called a pretty serious allegation, Kirby held firm. It's not that I'm denying it. I'm simply going to refuse to speak to two specific anecdotes that are in the book. Elsewhere inside the Pentagon, the Milley situation has been topic A, officials said. Everyone is talking about it, and not in a good way, one civilian contract officer told Just News. People are talking about whether they should leave. They don't want to be tarred with the mess. The discussion has centered on questions about the anecdotes in the book, said one senior Pentagon official who doubted the explanation that Milley was afraid Trump would launch a nuclear attack in order to remain in office. That's a stupid way to remain in office, because even someone like me, who questions pretty much everything, would go, dude, why are you launching a nuclear missile to country X? That's fucking stupid. Why would you do that? To remain in office? Who would you know? China? That's a stupid... You would still, on January 20th, get removed from office. Doesn't make any sense. If you really thought Trump was so unstable that he was going to start a nuclear war, then there was one way to address that, a senior official told Just News. We have provisions for that spelled out in the Constitution. Namely, the cabinet would remove him under the 25th Amendment. But instead of doing that, he ran his own independent operation. Independent operations are usually called mercenaries. Some within the Pentagon interpret the I'm in command affirmation meaning Milley wanted to make sure he was being marginalized. Wasn't being marginalized, the contract officer said. When Milley had the meeting with his subordinates, if you take the part at face value, he asked them if they would follow the procedure, the officer said. What he said to them wasn't technically wrong, correct? If you look at the procedure of the National Command Authority, he does not have to be in the loop in any command decision in the event of a war. Yes, that's correct. At the time of the meeting was held, the officer said Milley had grown suspicious that Trump would edge him out of his position. I think he was trying to make sure that nobody took him out of the loop, the officer said. The officials are not authorized to talk to the press and spoke on the condition that they would not be identified. The meetings and phone calls demonstrated a lack of judgment, according to one combat veteran who has numerous tours in Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, and elsewhere. If true, it's just an example of his inability to grasp not just the Constitution in this case, but the situation in Afghanistan, which he bungled, according to retired officer Jim Lechner. Milley's promise to give advance warning to China of a hypothetical attack crossed the line from bungling to giving aid and comfort to the enemy. Exactly. That's my point. That's why I'm so pissed off about this, that he went to a foreign adversary. And don't make no bones about it. Russia, China, adversaries. He went to China, to that general, his contact, and goes, look, dude, everything is fine here. However, if it doesn't get fine and something were to happen, per se, I would call you first before that action. Now, thought experiment here. If Milley would tell him that, and would call him later like, look, Donald Trump's going to be launching some stuff at you. Let's just say he felt that way, and he was wrong in his assertion. China attacks Taiwan. And then Donald Trump goes, what the hell? Then he launches the couple of battle carrier fleets, the national fleet out there, and launches an attack onto China that's ramping up to do something. You just started a fucking war that you can't pull back from that. So Milley, for all intents and purposes, could have fucking started a goddamn war that he could not have stopped. All because he was fucking scared and was concerned that he might get edged out of his job. His lapse in judgment has resulted in treason, he said. I agree. Milley's spokesman, Butler, said that Milley's calls were acceptable standard procedure. Standard procedure? Saying that you would let them know if something were to happen against that guy's country. Treason. Such calls remain vital to improving mutual understanding of U.S. national security interests, reducing tensions, providing clarity, and avoiding unintended consequences or conflict, Butler said. His calls with the Chinese and others in October and January were in keeping with the duties and responsibilities, conveying reassurance in order to maintain strategic stability, Butler said. All calls from the chairman to his counterparts, including those reported, are staffed, coordinated, and communicated with the Department of Defense and the interagency. Well, if they were their tough guy Butler, if I can call you that, their Colonel Sanders there, why didn't he tell Donald Trump? Donald Trump didn't know what's going on. You see, that's the problem here. Usually in these instances, if you reach out to a contact in a foreign government, military, if you will, you're in this lane. Milley stepped outside that lane and went above and beyond what he was supposed to say. And he said, look, they're General Lee, I'm going to tell you if something happens. Just be on standby. I'm surprised China didn't ramp up their military. But they didn't. Trump was not on record as of having said he planned to order a nuclear strike. He wasn't. Not at all. There was at no point did Trump go, during even his presidency, he never said, I'm going to launch a nuclear attack if you do X, Y, and Z. He even told, at the time, North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un that he was going to do something. He says, we're walking, man. I'm not worried about it because I'm just not worried about it. He's not going to do anything dumb. So here we are. We have a person in our National Command Authority going above and beyond their scope of their duties. Telling, allegedly, General Lee of China, his counterpart, that he was going to let them know if something were to happen. Which, for all intents and purposes, is the definition of treason. Kind of like Benedict Arnold did. He said, hey, look, I'm the commander of West Point, and hey, British, if you come over here, I'm gonna give the keys over to you. That's basically the same thing. Now you know what you're gonna say. Well, it was in the time of war. Doesn't matter. A treasonous act can be completed in a time of peace, which technically we are. So what General Milley did was above and beyond anything a distinguished military officer should do. And he did it. So, I guess in conclusion here, do I believe Milley did this? Yeah. Do I like it came from Bob Woodward? No. But it doesn't mean he's not wrong. It doesn't mean his sources aren't correct. And if they were incorrect, the Pentagon and all the talking heads would be all over this saying, never happened. How goddamn dare you? But they aren't. They said it was in the scope to talk to these people. Milley didn't deny it. Our government didn't deny it. The potato didn't deny it. Lloyd Austin didn't deny it. The spokesperson, Colonel Butler, didn't deny it. John Kirby didn't deny it. So if no one really denies it, well, guess what? For all intents and purposes, it happened.